Okay, welcome to the online tutorial again, guys. We have another video, virtual online analysis and tutorial brought to you by Colin Heim, guys. So here we're going to look at d4 and knight to f6. Go for this queen's pawn opening, c4 now. Maybe something like a king's Indian. Let's just get right into the move order here, guys. This is a very instructive game, and probably the most instructive game that your instructor has played on the online FIDE rated arena. So let's see now. d6 played by myself, again with black pieces, knight to f3, and b6. Okay, so just getting ready to fianchetto the dark squared bishop here for black, team black. And knight to c3, so now both knights are developed now for team white. And as we mentioned, bishop to b7, and bishop to g5. Okay, so bishop to g5 maybe is an okay move, but e6 now, getting ready to deploy the dark square bishop for team black here. e3 played by my opponent. Better move is h6, and that forces the bishop back. White doesn't just want to give up the dark squared bishop here, guys, because black is just looking convincingly better here already in the opening. So instead we see my opponent drop back to h4. That's why bishop h4 was played, and now bishop to e7. Okay, guys, protecting twice now on f6. And bishop to d3 is an okay move, I guess, is next, and knight to c6. Short castles from team white, and queen to d7. Queen to d7 is a good move because it starts the long diagonal kingside attack for team black. So in this position, guys, I liked what I had so far. And this was a 10 plus 10 rapid game, and my opponent from Italy rated it about 1300 FIDE online ELO. And let's continue now with knight to b4, attacking the bishop on d3 now, and a3, maybe not so sound, maybe dropping the bishop back in this position all the way to b1, something along these lines, but instead we see a3. So guys, of course, I'm just going to go for the light squared bishop one time, captures, queen captures on d3, and g5 now, attacking the dark squared bishop again. You guys, a lot of times online, I push g4 really fast. It's not really recommended most of the time to get your king side as playing as team black because it exposes the king side. So anyway, we see bishop to g3 now, probably the only move, and yes, now capturing on f3, forcing double pawns now on the f file for white. So this actually doesn't look too good because now, as we mentioned, guys, the double pawns, and white is forced to capture here, obviously, to gain back for the captured piece. So h5 now creeping more upwards on the king side, going after that dark squared bishop. And yeah, pretty exciting now with h4, making the bishop drop back again all the way to h2. And white looks undeveloped, and none of his or her pieces are coordinated, whereas black has everything under control here in the center of the board, even though white maybe has better, stronger pawns. And let's prove how we can dismantle these stronger pawns here in the center for team white. So the first move, guys, is queen to c6, played by our instructor, and e4 now played by my opponent, ready to fight d5 square. So d5 is played, yes, and this is where the fight begins here. And after c captures on d, e captures on d, and e captures d again. Now we see after this exchange, after knight captures, and rook from a to c1, now just going along this file where my queen is, okay? And yeah, it's pretty obvious why my opponent played that. He's looking to move that knight on the next move and then just attack my queen on c6. So instead we see just more development from myself, guys, and then after knight to f4, attacking team white's queen, my opponent just captured. Now with that bishop that I forced all the way back to h2, and after captures, g captures on f4. Okay, so without looking at the notation, guys, find the best move for white in this position. Yes, king h1 actually is the best move, because now the attack is coming. And after I drop my queen back to d7, now, guys, can you see what my plan was? Just to eye that pawn, right? h3. Very good, very good. Good job, guys. Right, so as we mentioned, this was played, and now my opponent moves his king up to h2 square, and now rook to d8 one time, and now it looks like d4 pawn is under attack twice. So what did my opponent play after rook d8, guys? Just pushing again. Now saying, well, obviously you can't capture. Why is that, guys? Because obviously I'm just hanging the queen, as it does. So instead, guys, can you find the best move played by your instructor in this position without looking down at the notation? Just focus on the board and find the best move for black. You guys found c6, that's correct now because pawn can't capture because now the queen is hanging. Okay, so what did my opponent play in this position? Can you guys guess? Okay, right, queen to d4. If you spotted that, congratulations. Now because the h8 rook is under attack, and it's actually saying that if you do decide to move the rook in this position, guys, rook h7 is just fine here. Rook h7 is fine now because you can start pushing the f-pawn and protect d7 square where the king is located on that e-file. So instead we saw f6, right, guys, played in the game, and this move was played in the game now as it blocks the attack on that long-range diagonal. And here my opponent blundered, guys. So everyone, guys and girls, everyone, if you could just find now the best move for black in this position. Could you guys spot the best move in this position now? Try to give it a couple seconds. Pause the video. What did you find? Did you guys find this lovely move? Bishop to d6, and now, yes, the queen is skewered to the king, and yeah, that queen is going down. There's no defense. After we see rook from swinging over to from the c square to e1, king is just moving over now one time. Either square is good. I did not choose f8, guys. I chose f7. And after this kind of just desperate move, just some continuation now, there's a check here. Bishop f4. Queen is forced to go back to h1. Can you guys find now the... I'll leave it up to you guys now to find the winning combination for black. It's pretty simple. Right, well, you take that queen, throw it on h3, check, and one square for the king to go. And you can actually play rook hg8 mate, or yeah, either rook works, that's fine. But in the game, guys, we just see not queen to g2, guys. Queen to h2, okay? Queen to h2, and that's check and mate. I guess kind of more in your face. I guess the more respectful way, right? The more respectful way to mate here is just with the rook. Just kind of a little disrespectful, but anyway, I think my opponent got the idea. So let's go over maybe where white may have had a breakdown. Let's find out where white kind of got some headaches here. Queen to d4 is a good move again, as we mentioned, guys, attacking the h8, the king-state rook, and f6 just blocking now. And obviously that was the fatal error, but I still think that the dark squared bishop is superior to the queenside knight, guys, because eventually this bishop is going to, start causing problems. Not in that position, as we mentioned, but now here, obviously. And yeah, there's just one check, and king is getting out of the way. So you guys should have gotten something out of this today. Your instructor, Colin with US Virgin Islands Chess, and this was a really nice game. And I think, yeah, I think black just looked better in the opening. Let's go back to somewhere after, remember queen to e2 was played here by white, and I jumped forward here, guys, to b4, attacking the light squared bishop. And that was best now because g4 is good. Black has a lot of options. He can always castle now queenside, and then just get double rooks now. Yeah, what's a good continuation move for white? Okay, maybe this. And then you can actually just push, and yeah, so maybe black looks stronger there in that positional analysis. Anyways, this was a d4 knight f6 game, c4 d6 and knight f3, b6 knight c3 and bishop e7. And we saw after this, I had a comfortable position and was able to show a nice instructive game, guys. So hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful time. Much more material to come in the future. And as always, see everyone on the other side. Bye-bye for now, guys.